Welcome to this introduction to Battle in Heaven. Battle in Heaven is directed by Carlos Regadas, who was born in 1971. He is the director of 5 feature-length films: Japón from 2002, Batalla en el Cielo from 2005, Luz Silenciosa from 2007, Post Tenebras Lux from 2012, and Donde Nace la Vida, which supposedly will be premiering at Cannes this year. He won the Palme d'Or at Cannes in 2012 for Best Director as Post Tenebras Lux. His next film, Where Life is Born, has been described as a cowboy story set in Tlaxcala. Tlaxcala is, of course, one valley to the east of the valley where Mexico City is located, and we've discussed it before as the place where the Lienzo de Tlaxcala was created in the middle of the 16th century. Battle in Heaven, however, is set in and around Mexico City. It is a perhaps problematic film. It has simulated explicit sex, violence, unflattering actor imagery, problematic race-class representations. Nevertheless, it is a great tour of the city a decade ago, and Regadas is probably Mexico's most important contemporary director, so it's worth knowing about him, and this is a good way to conclude our seminar. I'm going to take you here on a little tour of the key sites that are shown in the film, so you can be on the lookout for them. And here they all are, and they are the airport, the Zócalo, the Torres Polanco, the Hidalgo Metro, the Torre Mayor, Las Lomas de Chapultepec, the area of Coajimalco, and the UNAM Stadium towards the south, and finally to the north, the Basilica of Guadalupe. So we'll begin at the airport. There's interesting footage inside the airport, and then of the long drive from the airport to the center of town. Next, we're going to visit the Torres Polanco, which are a pair of emblematic high-rise buildings on the northern edge of Chapultepec Park in the glitzy Polanco neighborhood. So here we see the arrow indicates where the torres are, the towers, and in the center of the screen is, of course, the National Museum of Anthropology. Our next destination is the Zócalo, where there's a flag-raising ceremony, right, of course, in the center of Mexico City. Next, we're going to mosey over to the Hidalgo Metro Station. The Hidalgo Metro Station is right by Alameda Park. Here's an above-ground view of the station on one of these Sundays when the streets are closed for all but bike traffic. Here you see the Hidalgo where you enter the station. The Hidalgo station is more or less at the center of Mexico City's network of metro lines. Here it is, marked with an arrow. And here's a scene from the film in which you see Tasqueña one way, which is one end of the blue line, and then Cuatro Caminos the other way, which is the other end of the blue line. Next, Torre Mayor, which is Mexico's third tallest building, and it's on the eastern edge of Chapultepec Park. And here you see a roundabout which shows up in the film, and the Torre Mayor is just to your right. And here are a few views of it. And there you see the Paseo de la Reforma heading right down to the Alameda, and the monument to the Niños Héroes in the foreground, in Chapultepec Park, of course. Next, we head west to Las Lomas de Chapultepec. And here you see the sites we've just looked at, the Zócalo, the Hidalgo Metro Station, Torre Mayor, Torres Polanco, and finally Las Lomas, which is another very glitzy residential neighborhood of Mexico City. And here you see a detail and lots of large palatial palace-type houses. Next, we head to the southwest of the city, to Coajimalpa and the highlands beyond. Great views from there in the film. Then further south, a game, a soccer or football game at the National University Stadium, the UNAM Stadium, also appears in the film at the southern end of the city, of course. Here's a detail. And then finally, the Basilica of Guadalupe, which is, of course, far to the northern end of the city. So that's an overview of the sights you will see in Battle in Heaven. After watching the film, I would highly recommend watching the interview with the director and one of the lead actors, which gives you some perspective and explanation of what you've just seen. I hope you find the film at least interesting and a useful conclusion to our seminar.